The Vietnamese economy is at the heart of the fast-growing Indo-Pacific region. Everyone who comes to Vietnam, and those of us who live here, feel the vibrancy that's fueling this momentum. For more than a quarter century, AmCham Hanoi has served as the voice of American business in Vietnam, and our diverse membership is unified by a common commitment to the principles of free trade, open markets, private enterprise, and the unrestricted flow of information. We're confident in Vietnam's long-term prospects, and AmCham will continue to play a helpful and constructive role, to speak out on positions of interest to our members, and to be a strong advocate for a better business and economic environment here. Membership in AmCham offers strategic connections and unparalleled access to opportunity. We welcome anyone interested in promoting business and trade links between the United States and Vietnam. Please visit us at amchamhanoi.com to learn more. Thanks for watching and have a great day.
I'm honored to join you to commemorate the 25th anniversary of the establishment of normal relations between the United States and Vietnam. Thank you for inviting me to make a few remarks. As you know, my late husband cared a great deal about the relationship between our two countries. He believed America's and Vietnam's interests were better served in friendship than in continued hostility, and the establishment of normal relations a quarter century ago, which John and Senator Kerry and many others worked so hard to achieve, was one of the proudest moments in his public life. In a meeting in the Oval Office not long before President Clinton made the decision to normalize, John explained his support for normalization. "It doesn't matter to me anymore," he told the president, "who was for the war or who was against it. I'm tired of looking back in anger, and I'm tired of America looking back in anger. It's time to put the past behind us and do what's right for both countries." He remained proud of his contribution to normalization until the very end of his life, and committed to seeing the relationship flourish into the friendship he hoped it would become. He cared deeply about the people of Vietnam and the future of our friendship. That care brought him back to Vietnam again and again. I've lost count of how many times he traveled to Vietnam. I've lost count of how many times I've accompanied him on visits to your beautiful country. One of the last trips overseas in June of 2017, less than 2 months before his cancer diagnosis, was to Vietnam with Senators Chris Coons and John Barrasso. The highlight of their trip was a visit to the United States Navy destroyer, which was making a port call in Cam Ranh, the USS John S. McCain, named at the time for his father and grandfather, and now for John as well. I remember him telling me how moved he was by the experience, not just by the sight of the ship bearing his name in the country where he had gone to war, but by the affirmation it represented for his hopeful vision of U.S.-Vietnam relations. To the hard memories of loss and sacrifice borne by the combat veteran were added the happier memories of a statesman who found purpose and honor in building a relationship of mutual respect, interest, and committee to replace the ruins of war and address our common challenges. On a personal note, and on behalf of my family, I would like to thank again the government and people of Vietnam for the many expressions of grief and sympathy they offered in reaction to John's passing. We saw the mounds of flowers heaped on the monument at Truc Bac Lake. We saw the condolences from senior officials and those from ordinary Vietnamese citizens who saw John as a friend, just as he saw them. We saw the long lines of Vietnamese waiting to sign the official condolence book at the U.S. Embassy, and we were very touched, as John would have been. Were he here, he would look at the growing web of ties between our countries, economic, diplomatic, security, and humanitarian, with great satisfaction. And then he would tell all of us to get back to work and forge even closer ties. There is much more we can do for the mutual benefit of our peoples and for the security, independence, and dignity of all peoples of Asia. Long last our friendship, and thank you again for inviting me.